tomorrow all the things were gone. I'd worked for all my life, and I had to start again with just my children and my wife. I thank my lucky stars to be living here.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you once again. It's the Volpe Report. I'm your host, Domenic Volpe. Tonight we have two lovely guests with us. To my far right, we have Lynne Nayman. She is the Home Improvement Coordinator, and right next to me is Karen Gordon, and she is the Program Director for the Preservation Company. Welcome, ladies. Good evening. Welcome aboard. First off, let's start with this. What is the Preservation Company? A lot of people, think that it's a it's part of a like a home improvement program. Some people may say that it's something that belongs to Bob Vila, but we know it's something else. So tell the audience and tell our guests what exactly is the Preservation Company.
Okay, well, the Preservation Company is a nonprofit housing organization that's meant to help people move into their homes and keep their homes, whether through home improvements, counseling services regarding foreclosure prevention, if they're a tenant, helping them keep their home if they came in arrears, we have programs for them, training people how to financially manage their money to keep their home, and also administering some grant programs to help them keep their home or get a home.
So as the program coordinator, if I am, let's put it this way, who is the person who's the person who could is available to use this product, or if you want to call it a product? In other words, if I came to you, I own my own house outright, and I say, you know what, Karen, I want to change the windows in my house. Am I allowed to do that, or who is available for these programs?
Well, the programs, there are about 6 or 7 programs that we run. Some fluctuate each year, but in general, the programs are available for anyone that walks in our door in terms of counseling. In terms of actually receiving a grant, each of the grants have income limits placed on them. So you, depending upon your income, might or might not be eligible to get that. For the home improvement grant, a single individual can earn up to around $64,000 and still receive a grant. For a family of 4, the amount is about $91,000, and still receive a grant in Peekskill, Cortland, and Yorktown area.
So there are incremental levels as far as like financial, like whatever, in other words, the income coming into the household, and that allows you to dole out a certain amount of these grants that go to these homeowners. Now, the other quick question is this: is this strictly for a homeowner? Or is it, in other words, if I'm an investor and I own 2-3 homes that are strictly for rental purposes for investment, am I allowed to use that type of program in this case, or no?
In past years, we did have a rental rehab program that helped landlords maintain their buildings and really helped maintain lower rents for the tenants. But currently we do not have any more grant funds available for that, although we can refer you to some grant funding.
Gotcha.
But for our home improvement program, this is for owner-occupied 1 to 4 unit buildings. So you can have a rental property, but you need to live on it.
Oh, gotcha. So the owner of the property has got to be part and parcel of this product. Now, Lynne, you are the home improvement coordinator. Where exactly do you come in? In other words, if someone is referred to Karen, does she then say, listen, Lynne, you're on this case, are you given that job as far as to run that thing for her? Or is this, I mean, I'm sure there's a certain amount of coordination that go on between both of you, but what exactly does the home improvement coordinator do?
Oh, well, my program is one of the many programs of the Preservation Company. And I do the bulk of the work in administering that grant, which involves reviewing the applications and qualifying the person in terms of income and assets for the various grant programs. The different grants do have different requirements. So you may qualify for one, but not for another.
Another, I got you.
Okay, and the process is involved. And once a person, if you qualify for the program, we have a third-party home inspector who does an inspection of the property to determine what the needs of the house are. And with the homeowner, he derives a scope of work.
So they do an on-site inspection.
Yes.
They'll come into your house, you set up an appointment with them, and you enter in, and where does it lead? I mean, is it a window? Is it a roof? How far does this go?
Well, if you came into us for your windows, but your roof had holes in it, the home inspector would say, on your scope of work, what also needs to be included are the holes in your roof, and so we need to fix your roof. We have to do all housing quality safety issues first,
right,
and then we can do what you ask us to do.
Oh, really? So in other words,
so priority has to be about safety.
Oh, I see. So safety is what they're. So really, the idea is that they're trying to raise the standard of living for the homeowner who maybe can't afford. On his own right or on their own behalf, in a sense, is
That's
that
right.
the key to this? Is what's going on?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And so this on-site inspection comes on, and they find out that you know what, you only were asking for a new renovated front door, let's say, and a window, and he says, look, there are a lot more problems here. Mm-hmm. What's the process? What do they do then? So then it comes back to you.
Well, yes, to some extent. We have to determine, what the issues are, what the priorities of the house are. If there are real safety issues, things that are emergent issues, they have to be addressed. If there are violations on the house, we can't ignore that. We can't, under our restrictions from our funder, we can't do work in a house and leave violations open. Those things have to be addressed first.
Are there any, so in other words, would you call like the municipality, the city, the township, whatever, and say, listen, X house on such and such street are there any code enforcement violations or anything else like that? Do you research that deep? Or is it just from the on-site inspector and he says he has a list of credentials or criteria which he has to look up to and say, listen, before we get to this, these are more important right now, let's tackle those first, is what you're saying?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, both, actually. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
And also the homeowner, when they apply to the program, before we get to the home inspector, is attesting to no violations being on their home, or it has previously acknowledged it.
Oh,
so if they don't provide us the information up front, sort of out of protocol with the way that the office works. We do want to know if there are violations so we can address those properly. All the work we do, if it requires a permit, must be filed. We work with licensed contractors. We have to make sure that there's insurance on the building. So we do everything legally, so therefore we need to make sure that we address the violations.
Is it something that does the preservation company actually hire the contractors, or is it that you give the money to the homeowner and then the homeowner is set forth that there are certain guidelines that he has to follow and he hires a contractor?
No, we do not give money directly to the homeowner. I bid out the work. I look for 3 qualified proposals.
Oh, I see.
And then the decision to hire a particular contractor is made by the homeowner with the third-party inspector and with myself. Usually the 3 of us will meet and we will go over the proposals one by one. And the inspector is there, he's the technical person, and he can best evaluate what is in that, evaluate in terms of the contents of the proposal and the price.
And the contract is between the homeowner and the contractor, with funds paid through the preservation company.
I see. So that way you continue to have your hands in the mix. So it's not like you just go, someone comes in, asks for this grant money, and then you just hand over a bag of cash and say, look, we'll come back in 6 months, and if the work is done, fine. If not, we'll try to reapply for some more funding. It's you try to keep somewhat of a tight hold on what's going on and how the money is being doled out.
That's right.
Yeah. Okay. The funds are received from the state and federal government, and then we also work with other agencies such as Westchester County and Community Environmental Center to do. Westchester County does lead remediation issues and some accessibility issues along with another nonprofit. And so accessibility is like handicap accessible ramps.
ADA, like that.
Yeah. And then we work with an energy company or a company that focuses on energy efficiency. So the grants, all of those programs are reviewed. So such as the state and federal government, it's a review of us. So we need to make sure that the money